did not mean to do that. I took today. So I took the sheets off my bed. All my cords are on the floor. I need to sort through. But I hope all is well with everybody. We're gonna get started in just a second. We're gonna let everybody get in here. Figure out what this Wi-Fi is trying to do. Wi-Fi, maybe that'll fix the issue because I see the connection keeps going in and out, in and out. That make it worse? That might have made it worse. Okay, I think it's better now. Okay, so we're going to be talking about today, if you do not know the topic, what we're going to be talking about and breaking down emotional eating and understanding emotional eating, and really just talking about more of the deeper science of it outside of like going into terms, but rather just making the connections of understanding emotional eating when it comes to our body and our subconscious, and making the connections of the actions that we take towards our body when it comes to emotional eating. Because a lot of us understand that like emotional eating can cause us to overeat. We understand that emotional eating is a way for us to be able to cope in a way. That's how we think that is a coping mechanism. And we use emotional eating in different terms, far as if you're overstressed, thanks to the follow, or for instance, if you have a lot going on, you're going through a breakup and things like that. Like society has programmed us, TV has programmed us. What do? Especially when we have a breakup or we're sad or we just have a lot going on, we go get our favorite cookies, chips, we go get ice cream, things like that, because emotional eating, it makes us feel good. It gives us a dopamine response when we're eating our favorite snacks, when we're eating all that sugar. It gives us a stimulation that tells our body, hey, this is something that makes me feel good. So let's just keep doing this. Let's keep eating every time I'm sad. Let's keep eating every single time I'm not feeling the greatest. I need a comfort meal when I've had a stressful week, a stressful day. And we don't realize the fact that when we are emotionally eating, we are positively reinforcing a negative habit. When you are positively reinforcing something that does not need to be there, for instance, let's say that you have a child that has a temperament and you know they have a temperament, and so instead of you dealing with the issue, you reinforce it by yelling at them, by punishing them. But if it simply is just them not doing what you asked them to do and you're yelling at them, you are positively reinforcing because you're giving them some type of stimulation. But let's say this child has a habit of, you sit there, you get mad at them, you yell at them, but you break the habit this time. They throw something and you say nothing. You don't give them the stimulation. You don't give them the positive reinforcement. So they're going to stop and they're going to look at you and they're going to go, why in the world do you not yell at me like you always do? And that's the same thing your body does inside. When you are sitting there positively reinforcing yourself with food every single time you have a stressful situation, every single time you go through a breakup, that's how your body copes and responds, because you've taught it that. But when you break that cycle and you no longer do that when you have a breakup, you no longer do that when you're stressed out, your body goes, she's no longer eating when I'm upset. He's no longer sitting here eating every single time that he has a hard time, he's stressed out. What are we going to do to cope? That's when you realize that you have no healthy coping mechanisms. Your only coping mechanism that you had was through food. And when you realize that you have no other healthy coping mechanisms, you realize you're not actually dealing with the stress that you're putting your body through. Because you do realize that you have to have healthy coping mechanisms for your body to be able to deal with the stress that you have going on. And society is not doing that. When you look at the statistics of how many people have been stressed out since 2020, when we had all of those issues going on, since 2023, when they finally declared that it is over, our numbers have gone up between people saying they were about 35 to 42% of stressed out, don't feel like they're heard, especially for women, and now we're all the way up to 50s. That's less than a 5-year span. We've gone up 10%. And if you don't do any type of like number crunching or observing when it comes to statistics, that's absolutely ridiculous that it's not being dealt with. That we're overstressed and not having enough coping mechanisms to deal with the stress. And a lot of women are feeling unheard. And so when you take that and you realize the fact that not only are people feeling unheard and they're stressed out and overworked, but we're sitting here emotionally eating to deal with it, we don't have any healthy coping mechanisms for us to not be stressed out. And if you don't know what stress looks like internally, it's the same thing as externally. When you are completely stressed out externally, we know what happens. You look tired, you look fatigued, your skin looks dull, you overall don't have a positive attitude. You're not functioning at your full capacity because you're too busy dealing with what's going on mentally, because your body is stressed out. You get wrinkles. You were sitting here looking overweight. You have bloating going on. You're fatigued. Well, that's internally. Internally, you're going to be fatigued. And we don't realize that internal fatigue, that mental fog that we have going on, anxiety, depression, that all is linking to the fact that we're not dealing with the stress that we have going on. And we're sitting there emotionally eating to deal with it. You also don't realize that when you're sitting there emotionally eating and you're putting your body in that fight or flight state, that stressed out state, you don't understand the fact that you are internally aging your organs. They're doing autopsies on bodies now, and they're finding out the fact that bodies are 3 times the actual age that they have lived on this earth. So you're sitting there and you're 30 years old, your organs are in their 60s. I was going to say 40s. They're in their 60s. 3 times your external age. That's absolutely ridiculous. But when you look at the statistics and you see how stressed out people have gotten over the past 4 years, you see why. You see the result of what we're doing to our body. When you actually start to take yourself out of that just consumption and doing what everybody's doing, going through the motions, being disassociated every single day, and you start to observe the world around you, you not only realize how sick we are, but you realize the fact that people are not helping themselves to be healthy. We're all just sitting here just doing what we can do to make it day by day and not taking the time to sit back and wonder, how can I support myself? How can I be a mindful eater, a conscious eater? Because subconsciously, you have trained yourself to keep poisoning yourself. It's not even a conscious thought anymore. Now, subconsciously, all you can do is crave poisons. Subconsciously, all you can do when you're going through a hard time is sit there and think about all of the yummy snacks that you can get from your Chips Ahoy, your Swedish Fish. You sitting there getting your Ben and Jerry's ice cream. You can't go without doing that any longer because you have trained your body to crave these things. And that's the reason why you sit there and you wonder why you can't release the sugar that you are so addicted to. And the reason why is because you've trained yourself to be addicted to unnatural sugars, thanks to the follow. If you trained yourself to be addicted to the healthy sugars that come from fruits, you won't have unhealthy mechanisms with coping, because at the end of the day, if you really want to go get something sweet and you're craving fruits, at least you're mindfully consuming something that is healthy. And then after you're done eating all of the fruit that you've craved to eat and you've eaten all your fruit, you're sitting there like, wow, I don't feel like crap afterwards. I don't sit here and feel like, oh my God, I ate too much. You'll still be able to be full off of fruits and vegetables. I don't know why people act like that they can't be. It's the matter of the fact that you sit there and you limit yourself on fruits and vegetables, but you don't limit yourself when it comes to the junk that you eat. You don't limit yourself when you have meat and dairy in your life and you're consuming that, but you limit how much fruits and vegetables you eat because it's too expensive. But in reality, you don't have the correct mindset, consciously and subconsciously, to sit there and realize that you spend all of this money on meat and dairy, no problem, no questions asked. If it's ice cream, if it's you going out and getting your favorite restaurant, you'll go to Ruth's Chris and all these different high-class restaurants, spend hundreds of dollars on a meal. But somebody tells you that you can eat fruits and vegetables and be sustained and be supported and heal your body and help your body and know how to consciously consume, and you complain about how expensive the lifestyle is. No, what's expensive is the fact that you don't know how to take care of yourself and support your wallet. That's what's expensive. You think you going out and you getting a little tiny fruit cup from Kroger or whatever you have, because that's local for me, but you go in Publix and different places, you get that tiny little fruit cup that is $10 when you could have went and got a watermelon, a whole watermelon for $10. Yes, you have to cut it yourself, but you're being too lazy to actually do this stuff and support yourself. So you complain about how it's so expensive to eat healthy, but you don't support yourself. You complain about the fact that you want to be healthy, but then you go out and you eat McDonald's and Burger King and all these different places and overconsume and know that you do that on a regular basis. And then wonder why in a month or two you're sick. Wonder why in a few weeks you're sick. Wonder why all of a sudden illness manifests inside your body. But it's because you have fed the illness. Illness cannot manifest and live inside of your body unless you have inflammation going on. And the only way you get inflammation is when you are so built up with toxins and your body is not releasing enough on a regular basis. Toxins store inside of your fat cells. If you were overweight because you've been over-consuming, because you are not a mindful eater, but rather you're an emotional eater, you are constantly filled up with toxins. If you don't know how to read your labels on a regular basis, you go to the store and just pick up any and everything, then guess what? You are over-consumed with toxins. Thanks to the follow. If you are one of those people that you don't want to be led to illnesses and diseases, because that's what illness and disease manifests itself from, is illnesses and diseases come from inflammation buildup. And inflammation comes from toxins, and you know you don't want to be inflamed. You know you don't want to have illnesses and diseases. Maybe you're suffering currently right now. You have to understand that reading your labels is going to support you, as well as you understanding how to release with food, using food as your medicine. You are not being conscious when you're eating, but rather you're sitting here supporting yourself, being an emotional eater, and not realizing the fact that since you were sitting here constantly reinforcing the negative habit that you have, that's the reason why your health is negatively affecting your body. Because you're not positively supporting your health. You're not positively supporting your body. But instead, your negative habits are feeding negativity into your body. You have to understand, whatever you were putting out, that is what you were getting in. If you were sitting there intaking a whole bunch of negative foods because none of the foods support your body, you are going to emit negative energy, illnesses. You're going to have a negative mindset. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have depression. You're going to have your body's functions not working correctly. That's the reason why society is having millions of people, which is ramped up over the last, I think, 15 years. Millions of people are now sitting here suffering with gut-related issues when that was not a problem before. The milk that you're so heavily on consuming, the dairy that you're so heavily on consuming, you don't even realize the fact that all of the benefits that they tell you that it has is stripped away when it goes through the process of them making it not bloody and pussy and mucusy looking, because it still has it in there. It's just a matter of they change the look of it so you want to consume it because it's clear white milk. And you don't realize the fact that they are feeding you mucus and pus in that dairy item. You don't realize the fact that these places like Kraft, all of these companies like Kraft that have all these umbrella companies under them, they are okay with giving you something that has mold in it. Literally a few months ago, Kraft was sitting there talking about the fact that they know that they only clean their equipment once a month. They clean their equipment once a month. So when you sit there and you think about the fact that if they know that they're getting an inspection around the 19th or the 20th and they only clean it on the 16th, they know that mold builds up within 3 days. How many weeks has your food been going and processing through moldy equipment? And then they tell their workers, oh, okay, it's okay if it has mold in it. Instead of them dealing with the issue of the fact that they're unsanitary, they okay it because they're going to color your food anyway. You don't understand because you're too busy focused on the fact that you want to fill your stomach because you feel sad, because you're stressed out, because they tell you that if you go through a breakup or something, go get you some ice cream, go eat your favorite comfort meal, and overeat and overconsume. And you don't even question, where's your food coming from? Who's producing your food? What is your food cooked in when you go to these fast food places and restaurants? You ask absolutely no questions. But when somebody tells you to eat a plant-based meal, eat this home-cooked meal that is made full of plants, you have all the questions in the world. Somebody tells you that you can heal your body and help your body in healing if you fast and you do a cleanse and you show your body love with fruits and vegetables using your food as your medicine, and you sit there and you have all the questions in the world to give for them. But when somebody sits there and tells you you have to manage a disease for the rest of your life with a prescription, when you have to manage a disease for the rest of your life and go through a surgery, remove your insides, you don't have any questions. You just sit there and, oh, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? You don't question anything that you've done in the previous. You don't question why this doctor is not telling you you're going to be able to heal. And when somebody tells you you live a holistic lifestyle, you understand how to support yourself with fruits and vegetables, you can heal your body. Now you have all the questions. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And it's because we're so subconsciously unaware of what we're doing to our body, because we're too busy detached from this world, or disassociated from this world, rather. Disassociated every single day. Because you're sitting there thinking, thanks for the follow, that at the end of the day, as long as you make it to the next day, it's okay. As long as you fill your stomach for tonight and you make it to tomorrow, at least you can make it to your job tomorrow. At least you can take care of your family tomorrow. But when does it end? Like, when are you really going to sit there and realize this is constant? It's never ending. But it can. Your reality can change. It's the matter of the fact that first your mindset has to change. Your mindset around what is healthy and what is supporting you has to change. Your mindset around the whole healthy lifestyle has to change, because these gurus that are telling you to still eat dairy and all these different meats and everything else, because you're not going to be able to get your protein, you're not going to be able to build muscle, they're deceiving you. And just like them, you are going to be in the same category of people do not understand that they can heal their body when they have all of these diseases going on, because chicken feeds diabetes. And that's the main thing they're telling you to eat is chicken and seafood. Chicken feeds diabetes inside of your body. So what does that say right there? Seafood is full of microplastics and heavy metals, on top of the fact that they're also finding sea life with cancer. This has been going on since 2019. They're not even really talking about it. How they keep finding sea life that has cancer. There are whales breaching themselves. There are deep sea water fish that are literally pulling themselves to the surface and unaliving themselves on purpose. There is a reason why these animals are suffering in the ocean. These animals are not getting enough care. We're dumping chemicals inside the ocean. And then they're telling you, hey, go on ahead and eat this because this is a healthier alternative for meat. They do no research. They follow these same people's programming that are poisoning you. Doctors don't realize that they can help you heal because they don't go through a program to teach you how to heal. They go through a program to show you how to take a prescription, take a medication, and then come back in a year. They tell you how to get they teach them how to give surgeries and all these different things and push medications and prescriptions on you. They don't teach them how to help you heal. But when somebody tells you that you can heal holistically, you can go to a holistic doctor if you really desire to, because a lot of people aren't because they're scared. You can still go to your regular doctor and not have to take a prescription. Get what they tell you and then go find the natural healing method for it. The education is out there. It's the matter of what you want. Do you want to manage a disease, which is keeping it alive inside of your body, keeping it alive? Or do you want to deal with the issue, get to the root cause, and heal it? Because that's what I did for myself. I sat there and I allowed myself to release all this meat and this dairy that I was constantly consuming every single day. I was developing insulin resistance. I had all the signs of it. I have multiple people in my family that have had diabetes, so I had the signs of it. I was sitting there, I had developed asthma in high school, which is caused from inflammation. I had knee pain in 5th grade. I was wearing 2 knee braces in 5th grade as a child. Yes, skin tags. Skin tags, they said, like, they like to say that runs in your family and that's genetics, but we don't realize the fact that skin tags are a sign of you having insulin resistance. And the only thing that passes down generationally in your family are habits. There is no disease that passes down in your family. It's the habits. And so I was following the same train as everybody else. That's the reason why I was inflamed and my knees were so inflamed in 5th grade. That's the reason why I was sitting there suffering and then developing asthma in high school. And it was from working out. So here I am thinking, like, why would my body be sitting here fighting myself when I'm working out and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? But you don't realize the fact that the science behind you working out and the reason why you're in so much pain is because when you work out and you're breaking down the muscle to build it back up, that's what your body goes through. It also sits there and releases inflammation. And so when you're sitting there and you're breaking down that muscle and it's inflamed because it's going through a process of breaking down and building up, it also has to fight the inflammation that you're consuming every single day with the food that you're eating. And so when you realize that and you understand that, you start to come together, you start to form the thought and the ideas of the fact that, yes, the food that I am eating is keeping me from the health that I need. Isn't that crazy that the food that I'm eating is keeping me from the health that I need? And this is the food that they are recommending to me on these My Plates and these food pyramids. Like, it's all about the habits that you have. And you have to understand that diet culture is not going to support you. If you are following or believing in diet culture still to this day, look at everybody that's been following diet culture for how many years now? I don't know exactly when diet culture really became, like, you know, a popular thing for a society to keep doing these facade diets, these ketos, these paleos, these Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig's and all different things. But when you sit there and you really put two and two together, do the mental thought, do the mental math, and look at all these people that do diet culture. Not the people on TV that they show you, oh, they lost this much weight, but the people that are in front of you that do the same thing on the same program, and how they get off the program, they go back to their old lifestyle because they never changed any of their habits. They just did a momentary facade diet, a band-aid, and then you go back to your lifestyle. They go back, they gain all the weight back and some. There's a reason why, because nobody is changing their habits. Disease cannot manifest itself unless you have inflammation. I saw your question earlier, and I will answer that at the end because that is something that is more outside of the topic that I'm talking about. If you want to know how, what exactly each meat is doing to your body and how it's diseasing you and affecting you, I do have a masterclass replay that I can send to you that will support you so that you can know how chicken is feeding diseases inside of you, like diabetes, for instance. But every single disease that is going on in mankind, I promise you, it is not just manifesting itself because it runs in your family. It's manifesting because of inflammation. They tell you that because at the end of the day, if you believe that there's no inevitable way for you to be able to get away from that disease, there's no way for you to not have inflammation because of the way society is. Yes, correct. There is no way for you to not have any inflammation. But when you are overloaded with inflammation from toxins, that's how you develop diseases and illnesses. When you are a child, an infant, because they're finding fetuses inside of the, which I'm going to get back on my topic, but I'm just going to make this point so that you understand. When they're finding fetuses inside of the utero with microplastics inside of them, for instance, and then that child comes out later on and they have autism, make the connection here. They weren't just sitting there born with that. It's because of the habits from the parents before. It's because the mother and the father that came together both had microplastics overloads inside of their body and they never did anything about it. When you are created and you are made by the Most High Himself, He made you perfect. It's the matter of the fact that as soon as you enter in this world, what have your parents been doing? What habits are they passed down to teach you? It's the habits. It's not the fact that you were born with it. But doctors have to tell you that so that when you sit there and you think that there's no way, there's no end in sight, this is just how it's going to be, it's because the reason why they're taught to show you how to manage a disease. It does not teach you how to heal your body and help your body. There are plenty of things for you to do, and I give you, and if you let me keep going, I give you plenty of things for you to do. I have so much free content on YouTube. If you want to check out my playlist, I have a Purge the Poison playlist that will support you. I have a cleansing bundle that is going to support you full body, anti-inflammatory, microplastic detoxing, heavy metal detoxing, fruit and vegetable cleansing. It's 7 books total. One is a template guide that shows you completely how I did it for myself, what I do for myself every single month, because I do a cleanse once a month, and will support you in understanding that it's possible for you to help your body in healing. It's just a matter of learning how and educating yourself on how. But you have to first get in the mindset of understanding what is your relationship with food. Because your relationship with food, when you are emotionally eating, you have to understand that it also comes from your self-perception. If you sit there and you're wondering why in the world that you feel like every single time you have a hard time that you start gaining weight, you start over-consuming, your weight is fluctuating, think about the fact that what do you really view yourself like? Do you truly view yourself as a vessel that deserves the best? Do you treat yourself as a vessel that deserves the best? Because we all say that we love each other, we love ourselves. We have self-love. We show ourselves love. But are you showing yourself love through every aspect in your life? Or are you just showing yourself love by looking in the mirror, manifesting and telling yourself that you're beautiful? Because yes, you can look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. Yes, you can sit there and manifest your reality of what you want. But if you're sitting there telling yourself you're beautiful and I'm skinny and I'm gonna be skinny, but you're doing nothing to make yourself beautiful on the inside as well, because that's a part of it. Taking care of yourself on the inside is making yourself beautiful as well. Then you have to realize the fact that you are not supporting yourself and loving yourself enough. The self perception that you have subconsciously. It's the actions that you have. So if you are sitting here over consuming and you can't lose weight, you can't figure out why you're so negative and you're anxious and you're depressed, think about your self-perception and how you've been treating yourself over the years when it comes to food and the habits that you have and the actions that you take. Okay, I'm plant-based. I'm not vegan. I can say very much so I don't know what you eat and how you eat, and I'll get back on the topic. But when I was labeling myself as vegan in the beginning of my journey, because it's about to be 4 years in October, no vegan product that I had supported me, because when you look at vegan products, they have soy inside of them, which is inflammatory. That some of them even can say that they're basically, like, I think I saw one that said it was vegan. I think they relabeled it, but it's not vegan. And it had eggs in it. I think that's what it was. A lot of vegan products, like I said, they have soy. They have all these additives and fillers in them. And if you're eating soy, you're eating additives and fillers. If you're eating corn, because a lot of products have corn is GMO, all corn. Over 90% of soy is GMO. That's inflammatory. Those are additives and fillers. Additives and fillers are inflammatory. If you're eating citric acid and you don't know what companies use real citric acid, which majority don't, citric acid is derived from black mold for all these companies. Thank you for the follow. Anybody can be susceptible to disease. It's all about the matter of the fact of the actions that you take towards your body and helping your body heal and cleansing on the regular. And I really feel like, honestly, now at this point, you might be trolling, because you said you had an honest question earlier, but I feel like you're trolling at this point. If you're not trolling, I'm okay. Sorry, I misinterpreted. Thank you for the follow. Thanks for the gift. Thank you. Thanks for all the follows, guys. You said I'm raw just to eat fruits and vegetables. See, I'm not raw. That's just something that I can help people go to. If they want to do raw or alkaline, I can support them if they want to do that, but I don't live that lifestyle. And the reason why I don't live that lifestyle is because I show you how to do it from the easiest light possible. Like, I go and I do my raw every single month. I do it for a week and a half, something like that. But for a lot of people getting into the lifestyle, that's going to be completely difficult. And so what I teach you is how to start cooking plant-based meals, which I have a cookbook linked in my bio. It will support you in getting into cooking plant-based meals and seeing how easy it is for you to make meals from scratch. It's a lot of, like, there's some easy quick meals, there's some prep meals and things like that. Thanks for the follow. But also just allows you to see that, like, you can add in both, if that makes sense. Like, you can do raw like I do for a little bit of time of the month and then still enjoy the foods that you eat and not have to go through the weight fluctuation and the back and forth and throwing your body in fight or flight mode. You don't have to go back to the crappy way that you were eating and still be able to enjoy the foods that you're eating, because I enjoy food. There's one thing I'm going to tell you right now. If I want to eat, I'm going to eat. My best friend showed me the other day, because I got her on to being plant-based. Once I told her, like, I showed her how to make vegan hot dogs from scratch from carrots. I showed her how to make barbecue sandwiches and stuff like that. She was all in for it after that. She showed me a recipe the other day of how to make blueberry cobbler. My mom had made it a couple of Thanksgivings ago for me just to make it, but hers was a simpler recipe and it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'll get back on the topic. I just want to check these comments, make sure. You said they may be tripping, but it's all about teaching mom. Exactly. That's why I said I feel like they were trolling, and I'm okay with that. You can troll all you want to. You can try to sit here and try to make me seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, or you can sit here and try to argue that you're vegan. But like I say, to every single person that comes in here and says they're vegan, I am not vegan. I am plant-based. There is a reason why I use that term over vegan, because they are different. Vegan people don't care about eating soy. They don't care about consuming corn. Majority of them don't even care about eating additives and fillers. They're worried about the animals. Yes, I love animals. Yes, I love nature, and I understand caring for the environment. But my goal first is to support myself and to take care of my body first. Because if you can't show yourself love and take care of your own body first, how can you show an animal love and put an animal's life above yours? It makes absolutely no sense when you're not showing your body enough care to not eat additives and fillers that are making you toxic, to support yourself, to not be leading yourself to illnesses and diseases. You can't care for an animal more than yourself. And you can't expect somebody else to care about you when you don't show yourself love. And a lot of society does not understand, and that's the reason why they're so insecure when it comes to other people showing them love and showing them care and giving them the experience that they want, because they can't even provide the experience for themselves. Thanks for the gift. You sit there and you can't even provide yourself with the experience that you want, because everybody's too busy worrying about being a vibe. But in reality, I don't call myself a vibe. I'm an experience. When you come to me, you get education, you get facts, you get a good time. The good time, the place that you were at, the ambience, the aesthetic, that's a vibe. I'm not a vibe. I'm an experience. When you leave my presence, you feel, wow, I'm filled up. I understand more. I'm learning different things. You have things to research. And that's not just me on live. That's me authentically in life. I do this. I started doing this in 2020 just to do it. Just start doing research and learning things and changing my habits. But now here I am in a place of mastery when it comes to this. And I can do this like in my sleep. I'm ready to share it with everybody. And so if you want to learn how I did it for myself in an easy space and educate yourself in an easy space, then you come and you work with me if you need support and you need help. If you just have any basic questions, you can always DM me. My DMs are open. I give you plenty of free content here on TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube. All of my past lives are posted on YouTube. So it's like nobody has any excuse if they truly want to change. If you don't have the funds to do it right now, you are putting Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay for clothes and food now. You can do it for your health too. It's not that difficult. I have Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. Just want to let them know that. So if you truly are desiring that cookbook is only $25. You spend $25 on one meal. You get that book and there's over 20 meals for you to make. And you can mix and match them. It's all a matter of fact of what do you want for yourself. You said since fibroids I become raw and fibroids were scary. Yeah, facts. I never got diagnosed with fibroids or anything like that, but I did have painful menstrual cycles. Ever since it started, I've had painful menstrual cycles. And let me tell you, the only thing that got me away from that space was going plant-based and switching my lifestyle. Understanding how to cycle sync, eating with my cycle, understanding that. And that's the reason why I go raw once a month, because I've learned I only have to do it once a month. If I want to do it longer, that's cool, but it's a matter of the fact of when I do it supports me. And so if you don't know how to support your body with food, working with me will support you in doing that, because you have to understand how to do that. You said you went from 309 to 234 eating fruits and vegetables, starting gaining 40 pounds. Exactly. I was one of those people that I could not lose weight. My doctor had told me the way that my body was built, the way that I am, I will never be down to 140. That's what my height is supposed to be. I'm 5'6". By the national scale, that's what I'm supposed to be on the weight scale. I was always 190 plus. I had gone up to 220s. That was the highest I had ever been, but I could never get down lower than 190. I did diet culture. I was on a diet for 6 months. Went down to 170. That was the lowest I had been since like middle school. Was feeling good. Within a couple of weeks of me going back to eating meat and dairy, was all the way back up. 6 months of work, all the way back up where I was. That's when I got to the highest I had ever been. I was around 220s. Gained more weight than I ever did in my life after I stopped doing diet culture, after I was going back to what I was doing originally. Now here I am, and I've been plant-based for almost 4 years now. I'm at I think before I did my cleanse, the lowest I've been down to was 160 exactly. I think 160 exactly. I just did a cleanse, I was at 170. So probably by now I'm around the 160 mark again. That's my weight fluctuation now. Like, I have not been above 170 since I've gone in this lifestyle. And that's not because I don't eat. It's not because I starve myself. It's not because I'm always hungry. I'm not eating foods that I enjoy, because I eat. I eat. Trust me, that's one thing you're gonna know about me. I eat. If I'm hungry, I'm eating. It's a matter of how much I'm gonna eat. That's the question. Because I'm eating. If I'm hungry, there's not a day that I go by that I'm like, man, I don't have anything to cook. Man, I'm tired of eating this. Because that's what I used to say before. That's what I used to say all the time. I'm tired of eating this. I eat the same thing every single day. I don't want to eat McDonald's, even though I know I didn't want to eat it, but here I am at McDonald's. Like, just ill. Okay, so that's why I said, like, if you're not trolling, that's cool, but that's why I'm like, vegan is different from plant-based. Like, a lot of people interchange them, but it's different. It's different. I wasn't trying to go all the way to the bottom. It took me all the way to the bottom. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. I'm trying to go through these comments so I can get back. I'll get back on the topic of our mindful consumption and eating. You're no problem. You said, no problem. I just want to make sure, because that's why I said there's a lot of trolls on here, so we have to clarify. Like, I'm not going to waste my time on people that don't want to change. But if you are ready for change and you are ready to take action, my page is for you, my live is for you, all the content that I make is for you. But if you were just here to just gripe and complain about something or try to argue with me, I'm not the one, and I'll block you. As simple as that. I'm not about to argue with you. There are plenty of pages for you to argue. Plenty of people that want to troll and argue. If you want to argue, go argue with them. I'll block you. Like, y'all just go on ahead and just save yourself the time and go find something else to do. You can ghost watch my page all you want to. But if you want to be blocked, go on ahead and say something that you're trying to argue about. I'm not going to argue with you because your opinion will never argue with the facts. The facts that I've been searching since 2020 will never argue with your opinion. I promise. I'm not losing weight. Exactly. That was the same thing with me. I was eating vegan food and I was not losing weight. I've gotten better about eating my wheats, because that was the thing. I had to get away from eating like seitan, because it's made from wheat protein, because that will pack on the pounds, if not just like hold on to excess weight. If you're dealing with wanting to lose weight, it just seems like it's not going anywhere. And it's true, because a lot of those like vegan products that they give you when you go to like vegan spots or vegetarian spots that have vegan meats, majority of them, if they're not made out of soy, they're made out of wheat. And that is a load. It's a lot of load, especially if you're eating, like, they make sandwiches and stuff, so you have bread which is made out of wheat, and then you have the protein that's made out of wheat. So it can be a lot. So you have to be mindful. That's all about the fact that you have to be mindful of what you're consuming. Dairy is a culprit of all the issues when it comes to inflammation. Inflammation is going to feed your fibroids, your cysts, your endometriosis. Endometriosis is going to feed your PCOS. It's going to feed your gut-related issues. All of that is going to be feeding it. Thanks for the follows, guys. Thanks for everybody that's followed. I was trying to get back down to the comments at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to keep going. So we just got done talking about our self-perception with our relationship and our relationship with food. Thanks for everybody that's liking up the live. I appreciate you guys. Keep tapping the screen so we can get more people in here like us, so we can have more discussion, because I do take questions at the end as I'm answering. If you have questions and you know they're like heavy questions that I have to like go into, I answer those at the end. But we're going to dive more into the topics. I'm trying to figure out which topic I was on, because I have points on my laptop I have to figure out. Defining emotional eating. Okay, so yeah. So for the people that are sitting there suffering, and we've talked about self-perception, and so you're sitting there and you realize the fact that you have not been showing yourself love with all of the consumption that you've been doing and all the foods that you've been eating, because at the end of the day, when you are not using food as your medicine, you are harming your body and making it toxic on the inside. And it can be unintentional. But it's a matter of the fact that now we are aware, so we have to change. We have to make change for our sakes, for our kids' sakes, for the people that we are, you know, modeling for, because there are kids watching. You have to realize that even if you don't have kids yourself, you have family members, you have kids watching you if you work with kids or anything like that. And so if you are sitting there, like I said, passing down terrible habits generationally, that's keep passing the disease, the curse of disease in your family. The disease does not pass down. It's the terrible habits that you have that feed diseases. And so when you sit there and you think about the fact that when you are an emotional eater, when you are over consuming, when you are an emotional eater, you are over consuming. You're not just sitting there consuming consciously, and you're aware, and you know, you're stopping after you have a few things. Your serving size of cookies is 3, so you're stopping at that 3 because it's 150 calories. No, you sit there and you eat the whole roll of Oreos and don't realize the fact that you just ate 500 calories, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, why in the world am I not losing weight? Why am I gaining all this weight? But you just ate over 500 calories in cookies alone, and you also went to McDonald's today. You also had a Big Mac and a Sprite, and then you got a sweet tea. You got a cookie on top of that with your meal. Like, you got a large fry. You put all of this together inside and say this is a meal. Not realizing the fact that you're so stressed out, so you can't cook today. You're so tired, so you're not cooking today. But you're stressed out, so it's making you emotionally eat, and that makes you overconsume. It's not fair to your body, and it's not fair to you to not realize what you're doing, because I don't even calorie count anymore. I stopped calorie counting when I went plant-based. And I don't have to calorie count because I'm not sitting there eating all this crap like a lot of people are eating. I'm okay with the fact that I don't have to calorie count necessarily, but rather that cleanse every single month supports me. And so you have to make the connections between your emotions and what you're doing when you're eating. Because when you are consciously sitting there or unconsciously sitting there over consuming every single time you get stressed out, that's the reason why you're having excess fat, bloating, you're having weight fluctuation problems, and you're literally sitting there diseased and sick. You're wondering why you're always sitting there with a cough or a sneeze or a sniffle or whatever else. Your allergies are bad, because that's a kicker. A lot of people don't realize your allergies are stemming from the inflammation that you have going on inside of your body. You don't need the Benadryl. You don't need Aleve and Advil. You need to stop eating all the crap that's making you inflamed. That's the reason why you have allergies. And I'm speaking as somebody who had severe allergies all her life. I grew up in the South. Like, it's humid, the pollen is high. Literally, I'm telling you, as somebody who I had nosebleeds, I think every single day until about 9 or 10 years old. I had the worst nosebleed at school. So until about 10, I had a nosebleed every single day almost. And my parents were taking me to the doctor wondering something was wrong. They're asking all these questions. And every single doctor that I had, all the pediatric nurses and all the doctors, it's her allergies. It's her allergies. Not realizing the fact that that's because I was so inflamed from the foods that I was eating. I ate a whole bunch of dairy. I drank at least 3 glasses of milk a day. No lie. I loved milk, dairy, all kinds of cheese. I'm sitting there eating meat all day. I'm eating McDonald's at least 3 to 4 times a week. When I cut all that crap out, I don't have any more allergies anymore. I stopped suffering from allergies in 2020 when we were stuck in the house, and how when everybody was complaining about how their allergies were so bad when they came out of the house and they were finally able to go back outside, I didn't have that problem. I wasn't plant-based then, but I learned what inflammation was doing to my body, and I stopped eating so much crap. I stopped consuming so much milk. I stopped eating all the Lucky Charms and the what are those things called? Like Captain Crunch, and I stopped eating ramen and all that different stuff. And I really started focusing on, at the time, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat my main foods. I'm going to have a little bit of a snack every now and then. And I started to focus on actually eating food. I didn't have allergies. And isn't that crazy that they tell you to take Benadryl and Aleve and Advil and all these different things, but they never tell you this is stemming from inflammation. What do you eat that causes inflammation inside of your diet? They tell you stay away from fried foods. Stay away from fried foods. They're not good for you. Why are they not good for you? And majority of people that I talk to, especially older generations, they can't tell you why it's bad for you. They're like, oh, your cholesterol will be bad. You'll have clogged arteries, maybe, if they even know that. But they don't realize the fact that all of this stems from one thing, which is inflammation. Inflammation sits there and poisons your body because your body is fighting inflammation, aka your body is fighting itself, which is toxic. And toxic environments are slowly poisoning you. So you have to understand that when you are sitting there making the connection between you emotionally eating when you're sad, when you're stressed out, when you're bored, and you stop doing those things, when you start to read your labels, when you start to get healthier snacks for when you are sitting there, wanting a good snack, maybe you're bored and you're like, well, I just want to eat this or whatever else, you'll start to see how your body does not fight you after having that snack. Because I still eat snacks, don't get me wrong. It's a matter of the fact that I understand what snacks to get. Because I don't sit there and poison myself with these name brand companies like Oreos and I don't know who makes Swedish Fish, but Swedish Fish and getting sour straws and all the different things that I used to love, Nerds. I stopped eating all that crap and I saw how my body healed. I started going to the grocery store and reading labels and learning about like Simple Truth. For example, their brand, Simple Truth, there's a reason why they're called simple. Their ingredients are simple. They give you real food. I started reading. If it says ingredient contains soy, contains milk, contains eggs, put the crap back. Put it back. Don't eat it. It's all making you inflamed. Majority of society don't even realize the fact that if you don't know this and you are so heavily addicted to your eggs, because eggs are good. Yes, eggs are good. They taste delicious. Eggs not only make you have high cholesterol, but it affects your heart. I'm trying to think. I have lost my train of thought, but it makes you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure. That's what I'm thinking of. I was like, it's something with your heart. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. That's what you're getting from eating your eggs every single day. Even though that's what they tell you on the food pyramid. That's what they tell you every single day on the food pyramid, right? Eat your eggs, eat your bacon, get your sausage, just get your little pieces of meat on the side, and then make sure you're adding your fruit and your vegetables in there with it. But they're not telling you you're topping off your fruits and vegetables with the high side of cholesterol and high blood pressure. They're telling these bodybuilders and everybody else that are, pushing this guru healthy lifestyle on you, they're telling you to eat raw eggs and things like that. Don't realize it's giving them high cholesterol. And then you sit there and you wonder why these bodybuilders and all these people that are supposed to be the healthiest people in the world are still dealing with inflammation and issues in their body, because they're following what all those other people do. Yeah, they look good on the outside, because you can look good on the outside all day long. But like I said at the beginning of this live, if you look good on the outside but don't take care of yourself on the inside, you're just as toxic on the inside. I mean, you're just as toxic on the outside, regardless of how you look. That's just as simple as that. And so start to reparent the relationship you have with food. Just because you were taught one way all of your life does not mean you have to stay there in that space. You can always learn new habits. That whole talk of old dog can't learn new tricks, that's a way of you just being complacent. Thanks for these gifts. That's something that's keeping you complacent. Just thinking that you could never change. That is what they want you to believe. But as somebody who has changed, yes, I am earlier on in life. I'm only 26, but I changed my lifestyle when nobody in my life was doing this. I did this before I even really knew what plant-based was. I thought I was vegan. Nobody in my life has done this, that did this when I was doing it. And so I was on my own. I started to but I started to just change the habits I hadn't understood how toxic the habits were that I had. And so once I started to switch and people started to see how my body changed and how I started to heal, they were sitting there asking me questions. They do now. The people that haven't seen me in years, that finally see me after me being plant-based for almost 4 years, they're like, what are you doing? What have you done? How did you lose all that weight? Because I look completely different. And if you don't believe me, literally go look at the first pin video. That was me. I switched and changed my lifestyle in October. I think my best friend got married around the 20th. That was the last time I ate a dairy, because I don't think I was eating meat then, but that was the last time that I ate dairy. Or not the last time, but the last time that I consumed a whole bunch of dairy, rather, because every now and then I'd pop a little piece of cheese or something, because I worked with kids at the time. But I weaned myself off of dairy completely after that, because I realized how bloated I was. I literally looked at myself from me stop eating it for a couple of months, because that's what my thing was. Well, I was like, let me just try for a couple of months. I got the craving back, gave in a little bit, gave myself a few little cheese cubes, and then started again, and then eventually just didn't try it anymore. But I saw how inflamed I was, and I was like, wow, that picture literally shows it. And now I'm telling you, as somebody who literally has ab lines coming in, and I'm planning on keeping it that way. My stomach is on flat. Never had my stomach flat. Never in my life has my stomach been flat. Even as a child, I was a skinny child up until probably 8. And then after that, weight just blew up and just kept blowing up and kept going. My stomach is flat now. Absolutely supported with this lifestyle. And I understand how to support myself. But it's a matter of the fact that I had self-control to do it, because I got out of the mindset of thinking that everything that I was doing was okay. I got out of the mindset of fitting myself in that box of what everybody else is doing, of normal. And once I got out of that space and started to realize the fact that I have more self-control, I was just too complacent in this world and not renewing my mind to what is actually healthy and what supports my body. That's when my lifestyle changed. I got to that mindset of it is possible for me. That they weren't eating meat back in the day. These people that were walking miles a day didn't have meat every single day. When they were old days, when they were sitting there fighting and actually, killing these animals off, they didn't have meat every single day. They couldn't preserve meat for days on end, weeks on end. And so when I started to put the connection 2 to 2 together, reading my scripture and understanding the fact that they were sustained and fine off of fruits and vegetables alone from their garden, why is society telling you that you can't eat that way and be sustainable? Why is society telling you you have to eat all these different programs and all these GMOs and all these meats and everything else, and we don't have enough food? But they're not telling you to eat fruits and vegetables. They're not telling us to grow our own gardens. There's an agenda, and it's to keep you sick so they can keep making money off of you. Then you're keep paying them. You're too busy worried about paying them. You're paying your doctor all this money, which I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but you're paying all this money to your doctor. But when somebody like me that tells you, I can give you the education and the way for you to release that so you don't have to take that medication. You don't have to be insulin resistant. You don't have to be diabetic and taking insulin. You don't have to be diagnosed with a disease and stick with it for the rest of your life. And I tell you that you have to educate yourself up on it, and you're like, okay, how? And I tell you, oh, I have this product, I have this service, you can book a one-on-one with me. You look at me like I'm crazy. I give you so much free content. There's absolutely no reason. There's absolutely no reason for you to not know how to get started, for where to get started from. But if you are ready to learn how I did it in an easy space that you don't have to struggle, you don't have to fight with yourself, you don't have to sit here and start from scratch, that's when you need to come work with me. And that's when I suggest Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay if you don't have the funds. If you are ready to work in my program, it is, an investment. It is 1.5K. It's at $9.97 right now. If you get that that six week program, it's at $9.97 for the first 3 spots. That's not only a deal, but you get it with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. You spend over $10,000 a year if you eat out, and you spend over $20 on a meal every single time you eat out. At least once a day. You spend over $10,000 in fucking food. In freaking food. Excuse me, y'all. I didn't mean to say that. But I got a little frustrated. In food. You spend that much in food. And somebody tells you that you're able to heal. All you have to do is spend $1,000. You'll be able to be walked through, and by the end you'll be completely plant-based. You'll know how to do everything that I do, that I've been working to do for years. You'll learn how to do it in 6 to 12 weeks, depending on which program you get. And you're looking at me like, I'm telling you, you'll be able to heal, and you're looking at me questioning, okay, but how do I heal? How do I do this without meat? What proteins are you getting? What protein are you getting now? What calcium are you getting now? What vitamin D are you getting now? What vitamin A are you getting now? Because that label of them telling you that it's vitamin A, but then it has a chemical beside it, and it's not the actual natural name for the vitamin A, I promise you is not natural vitamin A, and you're not getting what you need. Because the same thing, how they add fiber, they add fiber into your food. You do realize that's fake fiber that your body does not digest correctly. Yes, you're still going to the bathroom, but majority of society is so built up with toxins that they don't even realize the fact that they've been backed up. They go to the bathroom, but the fiber that they get from the food that they eat, because it's man-made fiber, is not the fiber that their body needs to expel everything. You take these fiber 1 bars and these fiber supplements, not realizing that's fake fiber. That's not what your body needs. Your body needs real fiber from fruits and vegetables. They don't use that. They use a chemical fiber that they extract and craft in a lab. I started the process by, weaning myself off of meat and then weaning myself off of dairy. Whichever one is the hardest, I suggest you do that last, just so you get in the space of being comfortable. You said you gave up meat last week. That's absolutely amazing. I had to do it in a slow process, but I did the same thing. I gave up meat first and then eventually got to dairy. It's giving me all these notifications to invite people, and I'm not understanding why, because usually it doesn't give me this many notifications to invite people. You said, yes, think how sluggish they would feel, especially with how long it takes for meat to digest. Absolutely, especially when how society loves to sit there and talk about how they have the itis. They've got the itis and all these different things after they eat, and how they need to take a nap. How do you think these people were functioning after they ate a meal and had to walk 10 plus miles? They didn't have the itis. They weren't having stomach pain and all these different things, because I know that I got that a lot. When I was eating meat and dairy, after I would eat a big meal, go out to eat with my friends or whatever, walk around the mall after, I get stomach pain. But it's suggested to you, if you don't know this, which is kind of funny, because I would get stomach pain, but it's suggested to you, if you are bloated and you feel like you have a bunch of gas after you eat, you are supposed to go walking for at least 15 minutes so that everything is flowing and moving inside of your body, so that you're no longer bloated and you're no longer gassy. So when I'm sitting there at the mall walking with my friends after we just got done eating and I'm sitting there in pain, the reason why is because you're having gas pain, and on top of that, your gut is not digesting correctly, which is keeping your balance off with your digestive tract, your system, which is keeping things stored inside of you. And when you're sitting there holding on to it because you're not getting enough fiber in your food, because you're eating fake fiber, that parasites that are thriving inside of you because you eat meat and dairy, they're feeding off of that decaying, rotting meat. The meat that has already been unalive for however many months it's been sitting in their freezer, sitting in whoever's truck or whatever else that they have it stored in, and it's been sitting there and preserved and colored and everything else. Now you're sitting there also having it and the preservatives inside of your digestive tract, and these parasites are just eating it up, producing more and more, and you don't know how to release it because you've never been taught. And they tell you to go get a tincture. They tell you to take supplements to release these things. They give you momentary band-aids that won't get you to healing. But when you work with me and you understand how to support your body, not only are you going to be consistently healing, but if you ever slip up, or if you ever decide that you just really have to have whatever it is that is toxic to your body, you will get back to the healthy state and healing again. Because it's possible. Hold on, y'all. It's asking me to verify myself. It's just the matter of the mindset that you have and understanding how to do it for yourself. Because a lot of people don't understand that the lack of self-control that they have is the reason why that they're so sick. It's the reason why. Oh, what is this? I didn't mean to hit that. I don't even know how I got to that. Yeah, why is it asking me to invite all these people? This is so weird. Okay, anyway. Moving on from that. But we have to understand that the lack of self-control that we have is keeping us in the process of just overeating, over-consuming, unhealthy eating. And if you are aware of what's going on with our society, because like I talked about earlier with the microplastics and the heavy metals with our seafood and everything else, and you're one of those people where it's like, maybe I only eat seafood. I don't eat it that often, but I do eat seafood kind of situation because it's healthier. I only eat salmon. Your fish are swimming in the toxicity that is in our ocean. That's where they dwell. That's where they live. Think about how the fact that if you don't know this, microplastics, they breach your blood-brain barrier. That barrier is there to protect your brain and to keep your brain safe. A lot of people do not understand that these toxins like heavy metals and microplastics, they breach your blood-brain barrier. They go past it, and that affects your brain. A lot of people don't understand that's the reason why they're having mental fog and fatigue, and they're having anxiety and depression. And the same thing with these children that are having autism and they're having ADD problems, and maybe they develop it later on in life, or maybe they've had the signs and you're not understanding like why are they regressing when it comes to their milestones, especially for younger children. It's because they're overloaded with toxins and it's breaching their blood-brain barrier, which is affecting their cognitive function. And it's in the science. That's not me just speaking. That's why I said, like, I'm speaking straight facts. How do you know if you have mold in your body? Do you eat mold? I don't know. Do you eat citric acid? Because that's mold. I've only had one company that I trust and I eat their citric acid because it comes from a natural source, and that's the Siete brand. The Siete brand, they can make a multitude of like chips and dips and all different things. They make tortillas, but I can guarantee you, if you're eating any type of I heard of foods been having mold. Oh, they do have mold because it's citric acid. Anything that has citric acid, when you read labels, if it says citric acid in it and it's a major company, they're giving you black mold in a label. And they label it as citric acid because they take the citrus that is derived from the black mold, and then they tell you this is a way to keep the food from molding. But they're adding mold into your food to keep it from molding. So it's like, think about that. And so all of these major companies are not using regular natural citric acid because it's a way for them to, thank you, it's a way for them to save funds. Thanks for these gifts. It's a way for them to save money. And the company that made the Hokey Pokey in 2020 to help us all, that they say they was supposed to help us all, they also made the citric acid. They started deriving citric acid from black mold. They sold the company to China. It starts with a P. The company starts with a P. I think you can put two and two together. I didn't say that. They sold the company to somebody in China, and then they moved on to your hokey pokeys. They have an agenda. They're a $1 billion company for a reason. They're not focused on giving you health and making sure you're healthy. They're focused on how can they make their next $1 billion profit company. What can they do? They've been doing that. I think they started that in like early 90s, and then they sold it about the like early 2000s. They've been making million and billion dollar companies off of you not knowing what they're doing and putting inside of the products that you put inside of your body for years. You just have to learn how to educate yourself, or at least know how to read your labels. And so I'm not saying or demeaning anybody that has done anything to their body since 2020 when it comes to the hokey pokeys or the food that they've consumed, but I want you to become aware so that you can make better choices now moving on from the future, so that you can know that there's help out there for you if you are ready to heal, if you are suffering from anything, or you know that you are leading yourself down that way. Healing is possible. It's all the matter of what are you going to do to help yourself heal? How are you going to support yourself in healing? What are you going to do to better your health and to stop following these gurus and this Jenny Craig Weight Watchers diet culture society? Stop following My Place and food pyramids. These people that are literally paid to poison you. You have to stop. How do you know if there's hidden molding in the house? I'm a plant-based lifestyle strategist. I'm here to support you in knowing what you're doing with the foods that you're consuming and the products that you're using, and how toxic they can be, and how these chemicals that are in your food, these additives that are in your food, and then the products that you're using can be poisoning you. I don't know how to tell if there's hidden mold in your house. That's not my specialty here. That's the wrong page. I love interior design. I would love to be an interior designer. I would love to know how to do all those things. Eventually, maybe one day that'll be something that will be a part of my business plan of me branching off into other things. But that is not what this page is for. That's not what I'm here for. But yeah, so back on the topic of microplastics and your cognitive function. Just understand that passing through your blood-brain barrier is not only affecting your fatigue, your mental fog, your anxiety, your depression, but it's also affecting your emotional eating. So you have to think about that because it's affecting your emotions. So if you're stressed out and you're fatigued all the time because of the blood-brain barrier being breached from microplastics and heavy metals, think about how that's also affecting your emotional eating. Think about how that's sitting there because you're so stressed out and your body's stressed out that it's making you sit here and want to emotionally eat. Think about the fact that you are not being told and taught how to heal your body, and you've been doing this way for all of your life. If you're, for instance, I'm 26 years old, so 26 years into your life of just eating crap and not knowing how to support your body with food because you don't know how to use food as your medicine, and you think that supplements, medications, prescriptions are going to support you, surgeries are going to get you to the health that you need. Think about how toxic you've been and how long your body's been in fight or flight mode. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the emotional eating is not helping you change what you were doing. And so we have to break the cycle and we have to become aware. And so that's the reason why I've come out with all the products and services that I have. This simple start for you to be able to cook plant-based meals is only $25. The link is in my bio. It's showing you a cookbook of different meals that I love that support me in staying in this lifestyle and that I still eat and I enjoy, that are usually my go-tos. Like, I'm very creative, but I have go-tos. Those quick meals that I need to just get it on out the way because I'm hungry but I don't know what I want to make. I have those long meals that are going to take longer, that are good, those feel good meals. I have all kinds of things for you to be able to be supported. I have one-on-ones that you can book with me if you have specific questions about illnesses and diseases going on in your body and where you need to start tackling it and how you need to start tackling it. If you are ready to completely go plant-based and learn the lifestyle from top to bottom, beginning to end, start to finish, then you need to be in my 6-week or my 12-week program, depending on which one you think will support you. If you are thinking you just want a trial basis, the 6-week is good for you. But if you know you are ready, you need it, you are all gung-ho, the 12-week will support you because you will get step-by-step everything that you need. The 6-week is more accelerated. It's not going to give you everything that you need completely, but that 12-week is not only giving you plant-based lifestyle strategy, it's giving you products that you can make at home that I make that are so super easy for you to be able to make, but also giving you de-stressors, so that you are able to healthily cope with the stress that you have going on and developing healthy coping mechanisms, because that's what we need for healing. In the process of healing, you have to release stress, because if you're stressed out, you're not going to be able to heal. You have to be able to identify and have conscious choices so that you can support your body in being safe and being healthy. So if you have any questions now before I get off, I am done. You can drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to be answering them. I know I was answering questions throughout, but now is the time for you to answer any questions while you have me. And if you have anything that you don't want to ask in front of everybody else that you're questioning, or you just like confused about, any products or services that you don't see that you want to work with me, shoot me a DM. All my DMs are open on my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook. If you are watching this later on YouTube, because I post all of my past lives on YouTube, drop a comment. Don't be afraid to drop a comment, or leave me a DM on any of my other social medias if you have any questions. And subscribe to my YouTube if you guys haven't already. You said, what are the top foods that have mold? I heard oatmeal can be. I do not know the top foods off the top of my head. Like I said, literally, it's just whatever has citric acid in it. Oatmeal has been... it's been drugged through the mud just for the fact that people like to have instant oatmeal. They think that they have to get instant this, get steel cut, get what is it called? Steel cut. I forgot what the other one is. Whole rolled oats, I think that's what it's called, or something like that. Like, don't get instant oatmeal. Like, don't, and then get like Bob's Reds. Don't buy from like Quaker Oats and all that different stuff. Like, stop depending on these major companies that have these big brands that have been out for however long. Because think about this. The company's been out since the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. They've made billions of dollars. Now they're at the point of, my company is well known. My company brand is well known. You can look at that and tell what company it is. I don't have to sit here and market. I don't have to sit here and be the best brand out there. But instead, how can I cut costs so that I can make more profit? That's what majority of these major big companies that are making billions of dollars, millions of dollars a year are at the point at. They're not at the point of, how do I attract in more customers and how do I get them to be here in the space of, making sure they push my brand to other people, but rather, how can I cut costs, because these people are going to keep buying it, because the people that are the older generation, especially the people that are, 60s and 70s, they have been knowing this for years. They know this brand. They're going to keep buying it because it's familiar. That's what we do as human nature. We go to what's familiar. The Siete brand is an amazing brand. There's only one thing that I have that I know for sure that has an additive in it, is their tortillas. And I don't eat them often. I eat them every now and then. But that's the only brand that I know that that's the only thing that brand has that I know that has something in it. And I can't remember what it is. I feel like it might be... it's either a gum or a sodium phosphate. I don't think it's a gum, but it might be a gum. Don't quote me. I don't eat it that often. I usually only eat it when I'm really like, I really just want to make me some, because they have taco shells. So it's like, I don't even have to use them for tacos. But if I really want to make kind of like a, what are those things called that you used to get at Taco Bell? I never liked Taco Bell. What is it? I think, is it a crunch wrap? A crunch wrap, I feel like that's what it is. I made like a dessert crunch wrap kind of thing on my page a while ago. If I want to make like a crunch wrap type thing, I usually use those for that, but I don't eat them that often because they do have an additive in it that I don't like. And it's just, I haven't asked them about it. I know it's in there. I haven't asked them what it is. I emailed them about the citric acid and they got back to me quickly. I just keep forgetting to email them about it, honestly. Do you use non-toxic? I make my own. That's one thing that that's the things that I show you in the 12-week or 6-week program that you have with me. It's called Bloom to Thrive. I also have one that's the same thing, but for women that are CEOs that focus more on de-stressors. But it's for like high earning women that are ready to start taking care of their health, because a lot of women that are high earners don't take care of their health because they don't have time. They know that they have to be on the fast pace because that's what their job is, that's what their life is. So I do have that program that's focused more on de-stressing, but the Bloom to Thrive is basically the same thing, less focused on stress and more about changing your lifestyle to plant-based, which I teach them in that program as well. But the Bloom to Thrive, it teaches you not only how to go plant-based and everything that I've done, but it also teaches you how to make non-toxic products. So I make my own toothpaste, my own mouthwash. I make my own body wash, hand soap, shampoo. I make my own. My dog, she lives non-toxic. I don't bathe her or anything. When she goes to the groomer, when she comes home, I bathe her again, because I don't drop her off. I have somebody else that takes her, so they don't live the lifestyle. I don't feel like dealing with the whole thing of telling them just bathe her in this. So I just bathe her when she gets back home. She doesn't eat any meats. She lives a plant-based lifestyle too. Honestly, my dog does not eat meats, and that's just because she was eating chicken. Her stomach is sensitive, but she doesn't do any chemicals. I don't give her any chemical heartworm stuff. I have natural heartworm stuff for her. I did get that from a brand. I don't know what it's called. I forgot. I make her own flea and tick spray. She lives the same lifestyle I don't. I don't do any chemicals with her. When she needs a cleanse, because dogs eat any and everything, she cleanses like I do. But yeah, so I make my own products. I make my own perfume. I didn't say that earlier. Yeah, she wasn't allergic to it, but it was the fact that they were saying that basically she was getting an overload of protein because her poop was turning yellow, orangish, and that is a sign of they're not what is it, absorbing all the protein that they're consuming. And it could be the sign of lack or the sign of too much. And I knew she wasn't lacking because she was getting quinoa, she was getting chicken, and I was giving her a variety of other things. So I was like, well, maybe the meat is too much protein for her. She was throwing up yellow, so we stopped giving her chicken for a while and just saw. I was giving her organic chicken from Costco, so that's why I was like, maybe it's the chicken kind of situation. It was. I stopped giving it to her for about 3 months, saw how her body was changing. She was losing weight, so I started giving her more proteins from plant-based sources. She gained her weight back. She was not only gaining her weight back, but she was having hip and knee problems before. She has no knee and hip problems now. We were taking her to a chiropractor as a puppy. She was a puppy going to a chiropractor. She hasn't seen that chiropractor in I think since she was 9 or 10 months. She has not seen her chiropractor since then. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's tried and true. I'm speaking to somebody who lives this lifestyle and has seen the results, has done other research, seen other people's results. People are healing themselves from cancer, no chemo, killing their insulin resistance, no what is it called, insulin, no added insulin. They're sitting there healing themselves from high blood pressure, kidney diseases, and all these different things. No medications, no treatments, no surgeries. All from living a plant-based lifestyle and consuming the way that I do. And it's not difficult. You're not suffering. You're not struggling. You're not sitting there hungry all the time. It's a matter of knowing how to support your body. Because, like I said, I had all those ailments and issues going on inside of my body from me not knowing how to support my body with food and just consuming any kind of way, emotionally eating all the time. And once I started to release that and understood how to support my body, all the issues released, all the issues healed. And it's from that inflammation. She's a prime example. Like, my puppy was literally, she did eat puppy food in the beginning. She was eating dog kibble. But when she started to become around, I think 10 months, like 9, 10 months, that's when we started her eating her, getting her onto a raw food diet. I wasn't giving her like raw chicken. I was cooking it, boiling it. But she was eating real natural food. And so it's like you're sitting there and, doing a little the brain going off. Why is she inflamed? And she's a puppy and she's not doing anything. And yet she was having hip pain and hip problems already. You would grab her a certain way and she would yell. Now here she is, as big as she is, about to be 2 in October. And she has no issues with hip pain, knee pain, joint pain anymore. I used to have to massage her legs all the time because they were constantly popping and tight. And they just felt like they were old people joints. And she's not old. She's a puppy. And she's not like that anymore. And because of the way that we feed her. It's amazing what food can do if you use it as your medicine. It's all the matter of using it as your medicine. I don't. I think that they honestly just say that all these foods that are healthy for you have all these problems because they want you to be scared. Because that's what they said, that whole trend of, yeah, I love my little animals. That's what I'm saying. Like, I went plant-based. I love animals. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I love an animal and then treat myself like crap and give myself any kind of crap. Like, no. I don't believe that all of these foods they're saying, like GMO products, yeah, they could probably have mold in it. They probably have all these other issues going on. I don't believe any of that, because the same thing how they like to say, or they because it is possible, it is a thing that, there's an outbreak of E. coli and all this different stuff in your spinach. There's an outbreak with all these produces and all these different things. And they tell you there's all these recalls, and everybody freaks out when it's a fresh produce. But nobody really freaks out when there's a recall on meat. Nobody really freaks out when there's a recall on your dairy and all that different stuff. You might, take it back or whatever, tell your friends. But when there's a breakout with fresh produce, everybody freaks out. But you sit there and you really think about it. I wash my fruits and vegetables. You should be washing your fruits and vegetables. You're supposed to be sitting there. If, for instance, nuts are roasted, because majority of nuts you can't eat them raw because they're toxic. They're toxic when they're raw, things like that. I've been doing this for over 4 years, and I can tell you I'm not overloaded with mold. I'm not having any issues with my health, because if I was sitting there eating and I was unhealthy and I wasn't getting the nutrients that I needed and I was putting mold inside of my body because I eat a lot of nuts, I would be sick already. Mold is not thriving your body in a positive space. It's going to manifest disease and illness. That means I wouldn't have been able to heal from the asthma that I had going on. I wouldn't have been able to heal from the inflammation that I had going on with my knees and knee pain and excess bloating and excess fat. I would still be having painful menstrual cycles that were literally almost taking me out. But I don't have any of that anymore. So that's how I know I'm on the right track. Going to the doctor and them telling me like, wow, I made a change of 360 in my body and in my lifestyle. And them telling me like, I keep going. Me going to the dentist and not telling them that I don't use fluoride. I don't use commercial toothpaste anymore. And they're sitting there asking me like, your teeth are so white. Do you use this? Do you do this? Like telling me stuff that I'm like, yeah. Like I use peroxide in my toothpaste. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm not telling them I don't use fluoride anymore. I'm not telling them I don't drink tap water and all these different things that have fluoride in them, because when you do tell them, they're going to tell you, oh, you need fluoride, all these different benefits, because that's the program they went through. That's what they have to do. But they don't realize the fact that you don't need that crap. Fluoride was only used in the beginning in the military as a tactic to keep people sane and to keep them complacent so they didn't lose their mind while they were on the battlefield. And now they give it to us every single day in one shape or form. They expose you to so much fluoride and you don't realize it's because it's a way for them to be able to keep you tame and keep you calm in the space that they want you in. It's not an agenda. It's not a conspiracy. That's fact for fact. It's literally so many different articles of research that tell you that. I believe, in my personal opinion, from me believing in the Most High, nothing is going to close a gland that the Most High wanted me open, because that whole open your third eye thing, I never got into it. And a lot of people have learned over the years of being on TikTok and doing what everybody else is doing as influencers of opening their third eye. They realize that they open themselves up to a demon and all these different things. I never had to open my third eye. It was already open. Like, I never had to sit there and open and release the calcification of my pineal gland, because I opened it as soon as I started to use food as my medicine. You don't have to do all of these different things and all these tinctures and supplements and rituals and spells and all different things if you're supporting your body the way that you're supposed to be. Like, so many different people are sitting here as I said, stop following these gurus. I'm not a guru. I had somebody, because I was in somebody's comments, commenting back about the fact that if you are having bad breath and issues with that, and you're sitting there scraping to no end of your tongue, and you're trying to gargle all this mouthwash, and you can't figure out why your breath stinks, it's because your insides stink. It's deeper than that. If your pits stink and you're sweating outside of just sweat smell, but you actually have an odor, that's because you smell on the inside. You're having rotting flesh on the inside of you. And somebody commented back and was like, it's because you're a guru. Oh, I see you're plant-based. And I'm like, I'm not a guru. I'm just somebody who healed my body, and I live the lifestyle, and I show other people how to do it too. I'm not sitting here trying to influence you and tell you, go buy this product because I need your money. No, I'm showing you healing is possible. You can educate yourself and get it all for free. But I can tell you, I put the work in. I give it to you in a cutie patootie little font frame and make it all cute so you can print it out, keep that book for the rest of your life, and now you know how to heal for the rest of your life. You don't have to come back to me. You don't have to sit here and buy my soap, buy my perfume. I'm not trying to be a part of TikTok shop. I don't want any of that. I want to be able to show people that the Most High gave me healing, and it's possible for you too. The Most High showed me how to heal my body because I asked, and I begged. I kept saying, what is my purpose? Why am I here, and why am I suffering? And he gave me my purpose, and he gave me my answer, because that was I was asking that question in high school. I was like, what is my purpose? Like, I was like, it seems like every single time I try something, it's not working, and I'm not understanding. Like, I'm trying my hardest and it's not working. This is the one thing that works for me, and I don't have to try my hardest to do it because it just flows. Health is wealth. The Most High even said that He gives you abundance. It's the matter of what are you doing to make yourself abundant. I'm abundant in health. I've done everything that I needed to be abundant in health. I deserved to be healthy and know how to take care of my body. And so I went and I got my abundance. I chose my abundance. A lot of people are choosing to sit here and suffer. And it's in scripture. It's Ephesians, I think it's Ephesians 20:26. It's either 24, 26, or 28. I really feel like it's 26. I'm going to say Ephesians 26. That it talks about the fact that you are either following the Most High and His wishes and His will, which leads you to having your blessings, or you're following against the Most High, or you're not following the Most High, and you're following this world and you're conforming to this world, which He gives you to the enemy. He gives you to the enemy and allows you to sit there and be full of disease, illness and disease, and wasting away. And that's in scripture, fact for fact, quote for quote. Like it wasn't exactly what it says in there because obviously I stumbled over that, but it literally says in that scripture that He gives you away to the enemy and it gives you illness and disease and you waste away. What is society doing right now? You look at society and what are they doing right now? We're ill, we're diseased, and wasting away way earlier than what we were designed to do. It's in scripture, and that's in early scripture, because a lot of people love to say, y'all focus on the Old Testament, New Testament too much. You need to go back to the Old Testament. That's in Old Testament. That's in Old Testament. He said He'd put diseases on Egypt, and everybody dispersed from Egypt after everything that went down. It didn't change. Our habits didn't change. And if you go in New Testament versus Old Testament, everything has repeated itself. We're in that time. I was reading, I think, don't get me to lying, but I feel like I was reading Romans. Wait. Is Ephesians? Yeah, Ephesians. Wait. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans. Okay, yeah, that's the Old Testament. I'm trying to think. So I think Romans, maybe I was reading Romans or something like that. And it was literally quoting what I had just read in Old Testament, in New Testament, but like not quoting exactly, but talking about new person, new section, everything new, but talking about how the same thing was happening when it comes to not following His way, not following His will, but still expecting something from Him. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't know how much you were taking, but the only negative side effect that I've heard about ashwagandha is taking too much. I suggested ashwagandha, or was approached by an old coworker about ashwagandha a while ago, and she was asking me about taking it, and she knew the lifestyle that I was on and how I was before I quit that job and was now doing what I do. I had started this job. I started working for myself in my business, and so she was asking me about how she has headaches. She didn't want to go on medication. She was already taking one pill in the morning. She didn't want to have to start taking it twice a day, and it was for her headaches, which also stemmed from her anxiety, which she was taking medicine from. And so she was asking about ashwagandha. I told her. She was skeptical. She asked her doctor. Her doctor said no, she didn't think she should take it. Fast forward a couple of weeks, it wasn't getting any better. She was going to have to start taking the prescription, and she was asking me again, and she was like, do you think I could be able to do it with the prescription I'm on? And I was like, yes, microdose it. Just take a little bit, take your prescription. As you start to see things change, stop taking the prescription and see if you get the headache. Within a couple of weeks, because I think, but by that time I only had a couple of weeks left there. By the end of that second week, she had come to me and said, I've been taking it. She was like, it has helped me. Not only has it helped me, she said, I stopped taking that medication a couple of days ago. I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to let you know before it was my last day. And so I was like, okay, let me know. She had told her doctor. Her doctor was like, well, that's what you've been doing, because, coming in there, you're reading good. This is going on. You're perfectly fine. What have you been doing kind of situation? She told them, I took the ashwagandha. And hey, how are you? And literally the doctor was like, well, just keep doing it. They cannot suggest to you to take anything that is going to help you heal. All they can do is let you do what you choose to do. And then they can be like, oh yeah, keep doing it. I wish that I could have helped my grandma before she passed. She passed away from cancer. I had told her beforehand. They had started her after her chemo was not working. I'm trying not to cry. I wish she could have listened to me, because her doctor told her not to do what I told her to do. She started taking the what is it? It's on trial, that chemo pill that is still in trial. It's still in works. It did not work for her. She tried it though, just because they said chemo wasn't working. I gave her a number of different things for her to be able to do that I know would have helped. I know would have helped. I know it would have helped. I know she was in stage 4 cancer, but I know it would have helped. It would have kept her hair longer than what she was if it did not help her heal. And she wasn't suffering into that last couple of weeks where she stopped taking everything. And so I could just only imagine if it would have kept her just going and flowing a little bit longer in the space she was in the week before her last week here. And it would have kept her, and she would have kept doing, if she would have did what I told her to do and kept doing what she was doing, if she could have actually healed. That would have been an amazing, amazing or miraculous story to tell. But she was too busy focused on the fact that her doctor told her that she could not heal and that it was the end of her life. And she was okay. She accepted that because she was a God-fearing woman. And I know that. So I know she was comfortable with leaving this earth. But my grandma could have lived here longer and she could have seen my kids that come in the future. And I really would have loved her to see them and to love on them like she loved me. Oh. So with all of that being said, that's one of the drives that I have to teach other people that it's possible. It is possible. It's the matter of the fact of becoming aware and changing. Stop believing these doctors because they go through a program to teach you and to tell you that there is no way for you to heal, that you have to manage. But healing is possible. It's just a matter of going and getting it and knowing how to get it for yourself. And it's okay to try something and it not work. You don't have to give up. You don't have to quit. It's not gonna hurt you or harm you to try an herb or to try a supplement. It's not gonna hurt you or harm you to try the lifestyle for a little bit. It might not work for you as far as you being comfortable in the beginning, but it's gonna work for you to heal. You're not gonna be comfortable with changing and doing something new. Nobody is. Think about the last time you tried something completely new. You weren't comfortable. Thanks to the follow. But it's the matter of the fact that you try and you see that it's possible and change is possible for you. And it's okay to try new things. You're a guinea pig for this Western medicine society of how sick can they make you without you realizing how sick you are. So why not be a guinea pig to see how you can heal for yourself? Not for a company to profit off of you, but for yourself, to help yourself. So I'm not saying any more questions, and I went on a wrong rant and tangent. Got a little emotional there because I love my grandma. I love everybody in life, honestly. Like, I have so much love to give, and so through that love that I have to give, I teach you to be able to show yourself love through the actions that you take and giving yourself love through the things that you consume. But it's all the matter of what do you want for yourself. Do you want to keep being complacent and doing everything that everybody else is doing and being in this box of wasting away? Or do you want to be here healthy and knowing how to support your body? Because you might have never been in a healthy space, but you can get there. I was never able to qualify myself as healthy. I was active. I was very active, but I can never say the life that I was living before was healthy. Even when I was doing diet culture, I wasn't healthy. Starving myself, not healthy. Thinking that me eating that bland chicken and me going and getting a salad because that's what I have to do because I want to lose weight is not healthy. It was making me mentally unstable as well as unhappy. That's not healthy. Health is fully feeling the change of the journey and going through the journey and being able to enjoy it. It's not healthy enough, not at all. But being healthy is being mentally stable as well as physically stable and internally healing as well as externally healing. That's healthy. I wasn't stable when I was doing diet culture. I wasn't internally happy when I was doing diet culture. I'm happy on the journey that I'm in. I'm happy in the lifestyle that I live. I thank you. I appreciate it. Earth Angel Vibes, that's a beautiful. I just try to radiate light. That's all I want. The Most High has given me light to share. And so I just try to radiate the light that He gives. He gave me light. I was in a dark place for a long time. Well before 2020. 2020 allowed me to see the light, see the little light peeking through. And I asked and I kept praying and I kept asking, where and how do I stay here? And as I asked that, He gave me the answer because I realized that getting away from everybody and what society had going on and being able to stay in the house and everybody else was bored, but I was enjoying my own energy, my own company, I realized it was not me. I was sitting there thinking that it was me and it had to be me and my brain and what was going on. But rather, I realized the fact that it was not me. What was me? It was, yes, the anxiety and the holding on to everything was me, but it was not me making me feel like something was wrong with me. What was making me feel like something was wrong with me was following what everybody else was doing and thinking that I had to in order for me to be normal. But once I got out of the space of, okay, why do I have to be what everybody else is in this box of normal? I was like, wow, that normal is what's keeping everybody unstable mentally and physically, emotionally crazy as heck. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And so I'm no longer mentally unstable. I'm no longer anxious. I'm no longer sitting there in and out of depression episodes. I no longer have panic attacks. I never got diagnosed with depression or anxiety or panic attacks or anything like that, but I was suffering. I was going through it. Thanks to the follow. I was going through it. And I knew I didn't deserve that. And I know that a lot of people don't deserve that. And a lot of it stems from food. A lot of people could heal themselves from all these things that they're having to take medications from, all because of the food that they're eating. They can heal themselves if they just swap their food habits. And so for everybody that's in here right now, before I get off, please follow me if you do not already so you catch all of my content. I'm not seeing any more questions in the live. I thank you for all the beautiful words that everybody has given me today. I hope that everybody has an amazing, amazing rest of your day, and I hope this has supported you. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube, go on ahead, and if you're watching my live later on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to me. Drop a comment if you have any, and like the video. I will be back live on Friday at least, if not in between then. If you want to catch my lives and you don't want to miss any of my lives, sign up for my email list, because I send out an email before I go live every single time so that they know when I'm going live, because TikTok sometimes does not like to send out notifications, or some people don't have their notifications on. I know I don't. You are so welcome. I hope this has supported you and helped you out today, and I just hope that you have an amazing, amazing, beautiful rest of your day, and just be mindful of your consumption. And if you need more support, check out my Purge the Poison playlist, and check out my plant-based master